Hey there, and welcome to a video where I'm going to discuss a new interaction I found which could change the build for many champions. This game, Pioshik is playing Lilia and buys Morello, but I think this was a mistake. I'm going to compare two items in this video, Chemtech and Morello, and show an interaction which I feel many players do not know about. Side note, this video is being made on patch 11.6, a patch which saw fairly big changes to healing within the game, changes to many popular items, and a pretty significant nerf to the rune Ravenous Hunter, taking the base Omnivamp from 1% down to 0, weakening the rune's effect in early game. So, maybe this interaction sucks now, but we're going to talk about it anyway. In this game, half of the champions are running Ravenous Hunter. It's a great rune, it offers sustain, and the rune is going to be even more common in your solo queue games where you can get the stacks very easily. If you have not guessed yet, this interaction works between the item Chemtech and Ravenous Hunter. This is possible since patch 11.3, where Chemtech was changed to give allies who shield and heal the 60% Grievous Wound debuff. However, the patch notes are not complete. If we check the wiki page, we can see that this actually includes healing and shielding yourself will apply the 60% Grievous Wound debuff, not just your allies. So, I thought I'd try it out. If you are unaware, the 40 and 60% icons for Grievous Wounds are different in size and appearance, and this is how we will tell if we are applying the Grievous Wounds from the Chemtech passive or just the passive from Oblivion Orb. So here in the first clip, I'm going to show you me dealing some damage with no Ravenous Hunter stacks, no Omnivamp or Grievous Wounds. I just want to show that dealing damage to a Kog'Maw in this clip obviously has no effect on him. Clip 2. I'm just going to purchase Chemtech Putrefy. So this will be the Grievous Wounds that we implement into our build. So you can see me buying the item here and TPing back to the lane and dealing damage to the Kog'Maw through spells. This will obviously apply the 40% Grievous Wound debuff. This is what we expect, and you should all know. Now what happens in clip 3? We are going to obtain our first Ravenous Hunter stack. We will do this by killing the Kog'Maw. As you can see, we are now 1 of 1 Ravenous Hunter stacks. This is a practice tool game, so we can only have one buff. We've claimed all the bounties, so we now have 1.5% Omnivamp through Ravenous Hunter. We're going to TP to Kog'Maw, and any damage we deal to him through auto attacks or spells will apply the 60% Grievous Wound debuff for the full 3 seconds. Next, I want to show you how constantly healing from the Ravenous Hunter rune will cause the Chemtech passive to refresh in your hotbar until you stop healing from the rune. To start the clip, we have 0 Ravenous Hunter stacks, therefore we are only applying the 40% Grievous Wound debuff to Morgana. As soon as we kill Morgana, look at the hotbar, we have 1 stack and the Chemtech passive is constantly refreshing as we are healing off the minions. As you can see, we have turned off the E and we are letting the 3 seconds elapse. Now the 3 seconds have elapsed, we do not have the passive on ourselves. However, I'm going to show you that with the 1 stack, dealing any fresh damage will apply the 60%. So you do not have to be within this 3-second window, you can just deal fresh damage and it will apply the 60% Grievous Wound debuff. So clip 4 here is a quickie. I just want to show that we will apply the 60% Grievous Wound debuff even though we are full HP. So technically we are not healing from the rune as we are full HP, but we will still apply the 60% Grievous Wound debuff. Clip 5. We're going to be using some traditional Omnivamp. No Ravenous Hunter stacks, no Omnivamp to start the video. So, only have Chemtech. The damage we're going to deal applies the 40% Grievous Wounds, as predicted. Going to TP back to the lane, pick up the Doran's Blade. Now we have 2.5% Omnivamp. We're going to deal some damage, and we only apply 40% Grievous Wounds. This is because we are full HP. As I move up in the wave here, I'm going to eat a cleaver. We are no longer full HP. So now all sources of damage we deal through auto attacks or spells will apply Omnivamp and therefore the 60% Grievous Wounds passive onto the Mundo. You'll notice that all the sources of damage will only have 1 frame in the hotbar. Also note, proccing Phase Rush also procs Chemtech passive. I'm unsure why, maybe there's someone who can help me out with that. In conclusion, it appears Ravenous Hunter and normal Omnivamp work slightly differently. Having Ravenous Hunter stacks does not add to the Omnivamp in your champion stats tab. This has been around for a while, so I think it is intended. As long as you have any number of Ravenous stacks, you always deal the 60% debuff. If you have normal Vamp, you'll require missing HP. So let's compare Chemtech versus Morello. The key difference being Morello has 30 more AP and some HP, whereas Chemtech is the cheaper by 200 gold, a better passive, 20 ability haste, even the mana regen is pretty great for champions like Lilia. This is reflected in the gold efficiencies. Morello is more gold efficient, has better stats, but a much worse passive. Now, let's see who takes the items. I'm using the last 50 pro games for each item. We can see fewer champions take Chemtech, and they're mainly supportive champions with shields. In fact, only 4 of the last 50 were not Moon's Death games, but still champions with shields. With Morello, anyone builds it. This is reflected in 24 different champions, with Nidalee and Lilia topping the counts to 6 and 5 respectively. But which champions can actually use this interaction I've talked about? So I took the 24 mages in the last 50 Morello games and have placed them in 3 tiers depending if they already take Ravenous and should go Chemtech, some who would have to sacrifice their cookies and Cosmic Insight, and I'm not sure if they can do that, and then we have the champions in red who have no need for the item or cannot take the domination tree. The 3 champions I really hope to see build this way in pro play are Lilia, Orianna, and Italy. With Lilia and Italy already taking Ravenous, all they have to do is build correctly. Orianna has some shield, so I think it's pretty reasonable that she build it. A strong upside of this build is having some ability haste in your build. This means you no longer need to rush lucidity boosts. This means you can pick up sword shoes if you want damage, or if the enemy team has a lot of CC, you can get Murtreds. So this sort of build diversity is healthy for the game and opens up your options. You no longer need to rush certain items. So the final conclusion, if you can build Ravenous Hunter and you normally build Morello, don't build Chemtech. It's better on pretty much every champion. Some champions are an exception, like Karthus, where you really need the AP and the HP is kind of useful. But try to think about it, see which ones you think would be the most interesting that could work, and let me know.